In Genesis 18, God appears to Abraham for the 5th time. This appearance occurs at the Oak of Mamre, which is known as Hebron, and for some scholars, Mamre could indicate a person associated with this place or who was an ally of Abraham. It also presents the intimacy between God and Abraham, his kind cordiality toward a man of faith, and at the same time, with the seriousness of God's judgment. God not only visits Abraham but also involves him in his purposes, enunciating promises and warnings. A chapter that teaches us about faith, character, and God's benevolence with justice. Abraham was sitting at the entrance of his tent, and when he lifted his eyes, he saw 3 men standing, and one of them was God. The other 2 men who accompanied God might have been angels, and they were all in human form. Abraham may have known their identity, but he was not sure until he understood the reason for this visit. He had great respect for the notable divine visit, welcoming them very well and offering them water and shelter. He also prepared a lavish banquet for them with tender calf, baked bread, curds, and milk. The distinguished visitors asked Abraham where his wife Sarah was. The question in question was asked because Sarah was in God's plans, despite the promise having been made to Abraham. Then, the important guest, who was God, said, "Your wife Sarah will have a son." Sarah listened to everything at the tent entrance, and both she and Abraham were already of advanced age. Therefore, Sarah could not have any more children. Sarah, upon hearing what the divine guest said, laughed in her heart, just as her husband would later do. God said to Sarah, "Why did you laugh, Sarah?" And she responds, embarrassed and awkward, "Is it true that I will give birth now that I am old?" But at the same time that Sarah questions, she maintains her faith, just like Abraham, who never stopped believing in God's promise. Because of Sarah's faith, and even though she had doubts, God honors her with the impossible and gives her a son, for she was of advanced age. For God, there is nothing he cannot do, for his plans are grand, perfect, and surprising. Then, Sarah, fearing she had insulted the divine visitors, denies that she laughed. But God, in his great compassion, did not take her action as an offense nor punished her for it. God revealed her attitude, for he knew the reason for this laughter and also knew that soon she would smile with happiness and not because she felt incapable, due to having the expected and longed for child. The illustrious guests then rise and depart, heading to Sodom. This narrative indicates the judgment that God would make on Sodom and Gomorrah. We will see this event later. Abraham followed the guests, always staying before God, which gave him a direct conversation with the Creator. Through this conversation, Abraham begins to intercede for the people of Sodom. And God said to him, "I will hide from Abraham what I am about to do, since he will become a great nation that will be blessed on earth. For I have chosen him to instruct his children and his house after him, so that they may keep the way of the Lord and do justice and justice, which are the essence of God's character." The cry of Abraham to Sodom and Gomorrah indicates the sins committed by this people, which show a disrespect for the holiness of God, thus leading God to perform an act of justice. The omniscience of God, which is his ability to have infinite knowledge of all things and exceeds wisdom. For he knows everything, even being able to descend to personally see what is happening on earth. Then, Abraham in his conversation with God, acts as an intercessor who begs for the salvation of these people. Through his dialogue with God, he justifies the divine decisions, appealing to God's divine mercy. Thus, Abraham indicates a count of a small number of inhabitants, indicating that the number of the righteous was small compared to the majority of the wicked and sinful who lived in Sodom. God will make the right decision and says that if he finds a number of the righteous in Sodom, he will forgive the entire city because of them. But Abraham, determined to reach an agreement, argues with God, knowing that arguing with God could be interpreted as audacity, since he was dust and ashes. Then, with great respect, Abraham interceded, step by step, for an ever-decreasing number of the righteous that could be found in the city. From 50, perhaps only 10 righteous remained. This, because Abraham had the hope that there would be at least 10 just men. But, unfortunately, he was wrong. We will see later. Thus, God having just spoken to Abraham, he leaves, and Abraham returns to his place. We see that nothing is impossible for God. For God is simply the creator of everything that surrounds us in the essential universe. Some of his works we can touch, like the human being, flowers, fruits, etc. Others we can contemplate, like the sky, the stars, the sun. Others we can feel, like the air, the wind, the breeze. Also in the field of emotions, like love, empathy, and other feelings. Thus we conclude, can anything be impossible for our God? God is God, being the God of miracles, faithfulness, and promises. When we have the awareness of this grandeur, we don't even need to see miracles to believe, do we? And when things become impossible in our eyes, that's when God steps in to show us that everything is possible for those who believe. That is what happened to Abraham and Sarah. At almost 100 years old, they conceived a son, Isaac. God also raises Abraham as a priest and intercessor, a spiritual father of his household, who brings his family to God, intercessor and father of nations, when he calls to God for the righteous of Sodom and Gomorrah. Thus, we observe a story of reparation and revelation. For with the birth of Isaac we see what is to come, the birth of Christ, the Savior of the world. We also observe that Abraham's hospitality signals the call, goodness, generosity, and welcoming of the New Testament. Abraham's intercession reproduces Christ's ministry as our intercessor. The judgment made on Sodom and Gomorrah is a warning, the reality of the final judgment, but also a sign of divine mercy toward the just. Genesis 18 shows that God is near and accessible, but also holy and just. He invites each of us to walk with him, to trust in his promises, and to intercede for those around us. God is merciful, just, loving, and always available when we need him. Our God, of love and goodness. Did you like the content? Leave your like, share with your friends, and subscribe to the channel for more inspirational messages.